There are 12 systems running in the background of American life that most people never consciously think about, and together they save the average person somewhere between 2 and 4 hours every single day. Not apps, not gadgets, not life hacks you read about on Reddit, actual physical and digital infrastructure engineered at a systems level to remove friction before you even notice it exists. This video breaks down exactly how each one works mechanically, because once you see the logic underneath, you'll never look at your neighborhood the same way again. Number 1, automatic ice makers in refrigerators. Most people open their freezer, grab a handful of ice, and move on without a second thought. But the ice maker running in the back corner of that freezer never stops working, and nobody ever told it to start. The whole cycle runs on a closed loop sensor system that monitors water fill level, tray temperature, and arm position all at once. A water inlet valve opens on a timer, fills each mold to a set volume, and then the freezer does its job. Once the temperature drops low enough, a small heating element warms the bottom of the tray, just enough to loosen the cubes without melting them. Number 2, drive-through coffee shops. A drive-through coffee lane isn't designed for speed. It's designed for accuracy, because a wrong order that gets fixed at the window costs more time than a slow order that was right the first time. The menu board sits far enough before the speaker that you've already decided what you want before anyone asks. The speaker is angled and mounted at a specific height to cut wind noise and reduce the back and forth. Some locations now run an AI confirmation screen that shows your order in real time, so you catch mistakes before the car moves an inch. Number 3, package lockers for deliveries. The 2 biggest problems with home delivery are theft and missed windows, and the package locker solves both by cutting you out of the handoff entirely. The access system is where most of the engineering lies. The locker has to accept packages from any carrier, block everyone except the right recipient, and stay simple enough that you can open the correct compartment on your first try from a notification on your phone. A carrier scans in, drops the package, and the system sends you a unique retrieval code that expires after about 72 hours. Unclaimed packages get flagged automatically. Number 4, highway exit service plazas. A highway service plaza is built around one assumption: you need to be back on the road in 20 minutes. Every design decision in that building exists to make that number achievable, even when the parking lot is full. Fuel pumps sit at the perimeter so they don't choke the main lot, and the canopies are wide enough to run multiple cars at once with pull-through lanes so nobody backs out into traffic. Restrooms are right at the entrance, so you don't have to cross the entire building. Fast food counters run parallel to each other, so several people can order at the same time. Number 5, one-stop big box retail stores. A big box store is basically a warehouse you're allowed to shop in, and that description is more accurate than it sounds. The format exists because putting groceries, electronics, clothing, and hardware under one roof cuts out 4 or 5 separate trips. And that's a supply chain decision as much as it's a retail one. Every sale updates the inventory count in real time and triggers a reorder automatically when stock drops below a set threshold. The backroom isn't storage, it's a buffer that absorbs the gap between when something sells and when the next shipment arrives. Number 6, online prescription refill systems. Before online refill systems, getting a maintenance medication refilled meant calling the pharmacy, waiting on hold, and then either coming back later or standing in line. The online refill system didn't just move that process to an app, it restructured which steps need a human and which ones don't. When you submit a refill request, the system checks your eligibility, runs insurance authorization, and queues the order before a pharmacist ever looks at it. The pharmacist still approves it, but they're reviewing a pre-verified order rather than building it from scratch. Number 7, food delivery apps. Food delivery apps look like a menu on your phone, but what they're actually selling is timing. The app has to estimate how long a restaurant takes to prepare your specific order. Find a driver whose location and current queue puts them at that restaurant right when the food's ready, and route them to your door, all at the same time. If the driver shows up at the restaurant too early, they sit and wait, and everything else in their queue runs late. Too late, and your food's been sitting under a heat lamp. Number 8, Automatic car washes. You pull in, put the car in neutral, and the conveyor takes over. You're not driving anymore. The machine is moving you through a fixed sequence of wash, rinse, and dry, and the whole thing wraps up in about 4 minutes. The real engineering problem is that every car is a different shape, and the equipment has to make solid contact with the surface without scratching it, whether it's a compact sedan or a full-size pickup truck. Number 9, home improvement stores with rental tools. A tile saw runs about $500 to buy, and you'll probably use it once. A concrete mixer is the same story. The tool rental counter at a home improvement store exists because that math is bad, and most homeowners already know it. The harder problem is keeping a rental fleet ready. Tools come back dirty, sometimes damaged, with worn blades or dead batteries, and the next customer might be picking one up the same afternoon. Every return goes through a check-in where staff inspect it, clean it, test it, and log its condition before it goes back on the shelf. Anything that fails gets tagged out and queued for repair. Number 10, mobile banking apps with check deposit. Before mobile check deposit, cashing a check meant finding time to get to a branch during banking hours, which is a real problem if you work a regular job. When you photograph a check with your banking app, it reads the printed number line along the bottom for routing and account data, checks that the image meets minimum resolution standards, and confirms there's an endorsement signature on the back. Both sides get captured and transmitted to your bank. Number 11, customer loyalty rewards programs. A loyalty card looks like a discount program, but what the retailer actually gets out of it is a record of everything you buy, when you buy it, which location you bought it at, and what else was in your basket that day. That data builds up over time into a purchase pattern the retailer uses to forecast demand and decide what to stock where. Every scan is a data point. Tiered programs add another layer because bronze, silver, and gold status levels create a spending incentive that pushes you just past what you'd naturally spend on your own. The tier thresholds aren't random. They're set just above the average customer's natural spend. So reaching the next level requires a small but deliberate bump in how often you show up. Number 12, ride-sharing services. Ride-sharing apps get described as a way to get a car without owning one. But what they actually run on is a pricing system that balances supply and demand in real time. The core problem isn't transportation, it's that drivers and riders don't naturally want the same things at the same time. And surge pricing is what forces them to line up. When demand outpaces available drivers, the price goes up, more drivers move into that area because the math gets better for them and the price drops back down as supply catches up. You're not being penalized. You're paying for the signal that pulled the driver toward you. Every system on this list runs the same play. Take a process that used to eat your time, break it into steps, automate the ones that don't need a human, and send the ones that do to the right person at the right moment. The ice maker does it with water and temperature. The ride-sharing app does it with pricing and GPS. The pharmacy refill does it with insurance queues. Different mechanisms, identical goal. None of these systems are invisible because they're simple. They're invisible because they're well built. A badly designed system is one you're always aware of. You only notice a well-designed one when it breaks.